Big Play Reflog Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. If you are in the market for a new video game console, you need to check out Shack News. They have in-depth reviews on brand new PlayStation 5 as well as the Xbox Series X. That's Series X. They also have a fun snack chat discussing the best games from the PlayStation 4, Xbox One generation. Shack News is the place to be for all of your gaming needs. Their insiders can cover all your content needs with reviews, walkthroughs, and guides. But they are so much more than just articles at Shack News. They do celebrity interviews and weekly Twitch streams ranging from the newest games to the original NES. And stay tuned as they launch Shack News Cortex, and brand new way to interact with the gaming community. So if you're a gamer, Shack News is the site for you. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle @ShackNews and at ShackNews.com.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Cut back by Chubb. He's to the 10. He's still running to the 5. He dips outside left. He's doing it. Touchdown. Straight on drive. To the left. Away. Back to goal.
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. Today is Monday, November 16th, 2020. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my main man, Mr. Chris McNeil. What is going on?
Happy Victory Monday, my friend. Victory Monday.
Oh, it is just so sweet. Do you like that wrestling reference right there? Too sweet.
Very nice.
And a man who has not been here in quite some time, the brains of this operation, Dollar Dog Sports, Mr. Nick Greenwood. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Dave. Glad to be on. I'm glad to try to defend Portage County from Padone's bad takes last week.
Portage
Ouch.
County, do you have power?
He trashed them, and that's where I'm from originally. So I was trying to look up some ammunition for how to come back with them.
Got
But
nothing?
I was on their Wikipedia page, and I looked up all their famous people, and the only person they had was a woman from the 1800s. So I don't think I can defend them quite as well as I was hoping.
Ouch.
Free plug
Is
for
it
Portage County.
Is it county or country? We have a problem with that.
Oh, man. We got a great show for you guys tonight. So, live tonight on the Big Play Reflog Show, we're going to kick it off with Power Rank Monday, as we always do. We're going wrestling, pro wrestling, favorite pro wrestlers. Not the best, favorites of all time.
Squared circle, baby.
That's-
Squared circle. Let's go, Dave.
Woohoo! And then we are going to bring in one of my buddies, featured interview with TV writer, producer, comedian, podcaster of the Sports Gambling Podcast, Sean Green, diehard Philly fan.
This will be fun.
This will be fun. This will be fun. We will follow that up with this week's Cleveland headlines. Browns are 6-3, victory Monday,
That's it. That's all. That's the headline.
and Nick Chubb.
And Nick Chubb, of course.
That's it.
Selfless Nick Chubb, falling on his sword for us all in the Cleveland land area.
That's right. And then we will get into our big plays of the week presented by My Bookie. We're going to get into some of those with Sean as well. And then we'll give you our bold predictions for the week. But let's kick things off with some Power Rank Monday.
It's time for Power Rank Monday.
Oh, we got a Macho Man in the comments. Oh, yeah. Friend of the show, Mac Wilson, yesterday, along with Harrison, performed a pretty textbook body slam. Nailed us for 15 yards. Didn't matter. We won the game. So that inspired this week's Power Rank, our favorite pro wrestlers of all time. A couple honorable mentions on my list. Rey Mysterio, the 619. The Rock, one of the greatest people of all time. In movies, wrestling, whatever. But my number 3. You'd think I'd be able to find my ding by now. Got it. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's probably number 1 on a lot of lists, but I have him as my number 3. My number 2, Sting. Not like blonde crew cut Sting. I'm talking white face paint.
Not tantric guy.
The guy who would descend from the rafters in his trench coat with a black bat. That Sting, who would fight the NWO. And my number 1, Goldberg, the most electrifying athlete of all time.
Wow.
The spear into the
his entrances, man.
Oh yeah,
legendary.
Sometimes he would hit the door for his entrance, and his head would just be bloody from opening the door. Complete psychopath.
That's awesome.
Number 1.
That's next level right there.
Chris, what do you got for your top 3?
My number 3. Go with the old standby, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. He was, Hulkamania, the whole thing. Of course, one of my favorites, and the reason I've got him on my list, Dave, is for the stuff with him and Bubba the Love Sponge. Are you aware of this? Do you know who Bubba the Love Sponge is, first of all?
I do not. I can't say I know that.
You don't know who Bubba the Love Sponge is? He was he's a shock jock, kind of like a Howard Stern type, and he's out of Florida, and his wife is the one as a shtick. She slept with Hulk Hogan, and that created all kinds of problems and lawsuits.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was the guy, Bubba the Love Sponge, and it was all part of this thing with Hulk Hogan. So if we ever do a bit, let's not do that one.
That's a hard pass.
Hulk Hogan's like gone. Bubba the Love Sponge, I think, is living in a trailer like down there in Florida somewhere. So that didn't turn out well for anybody involved. So, but Hulk Hogan, I got him as my number 3. My number 2.
Not to cut you off there, Chris, but we have someone in the comments says Matt Sargent says, "Bring on Ken from the San Fernando Valley." Wow, what a reference! If you watch the post game show way back in the day, you would get that reference. All right, Chris,
absolutely.
Go ahead.
My number 2, Andy Kaufman. I'm sure Nick doesn't even know who I'm talking about. Do you know who Andy Kaufman was?
I do not.
Well, in wrestling, he was the intergender wrestling champion of the world. He was a comedian, a very famous comedian from Taxi, from Saturday Night Live, from all over the place. He is the subject of Man on the Moon that Jim Carrey did him so well. But Andy Kaufman and his wrestling exploits down there in the South, and just ripping on Southern people and kind of doing his thing where you weren't quite sure whether he was being serious or not. And he hooked a whole lot of people. And for some reason, I can relate to that, Dave. I really like that whole shtick.
Really? I can't believe that.
Yeah, believe it or not. My number 1, The Undertaker, another one that's going to be on a lot of people's lists. I'll never forget. I was never a big wrestling fan, but when I was a teenager, Saturday mornings would be watching wrestling, as I'm sure it was for you, Dave, a little bit. And The Undertaker was always a big deal when he would come out. He'd just be different than everybody else, just scary, had that presence about him. It was just that mystique that was unbelievable. So The Undertaker, Dave, is my number 1.
How wild is it that he just retired from wrestling like a year ago?
Oh, I know. What a career, man. I'd love to see what his pad is. I'd love to see his bank account, because that long and he's seen the good and the very good of that, because he got in there about the time it was really, really taking off, I think, and the money was becoming there. And I'm sure he shared in a lot of that. Yeah,
that would be like if Ernest Biner was like retired last year. It just kept going and then made millions and millions and millions.
yeah. Brian Sipe, I'm going to hang it up.
That's right. Nick, what do you got for us? Top 3 wrestlers.
All right, my number 3 is The Rock. I know it's kind of a basic kind of pick, but right when I got into wrestling in middle school was kind of the tail end of the whole Rock versus Stone Cold. And so I just loved The Rock. I loved all his catchphrases. We'd call everybody Rudy Poos at school. And the teacher asked someone's name, and you'd yell, "It doesn't matter what their name is." And just all the nonsense that came with that. And then my number 2 is Kurt Angle.
You suck.
Everyone hated him, and he was the ultimate heel. But something about him, I just loved watching him and him being the Olympian and all that kind of stuff. I really ate up that shtick when he was on there.
I felt like he looked really weird, like when he got really old, like his biceps and triceps just disappeared, and he looked like he had like Tyrannosaurus Rex arms.
I think I quit watching before that happened.
Yeah, probably so.
I just remember one time, I forget who did it, but someone threw his Olympic gold medals into like the ocean or into a lake, or they did something to his gold medals, and I don't remember who it was, but it obviously had to have been staged because I'm sure he wasn't letting them do that. And then my number 1.
Ding.
Thank you. This one's kind of a very niche or niche. I don't know how you say that word. Niche.
I go with niche. I know there are a lot of people going niche, and they think they're cool. It's still niche to me.
I feel like Portage County goes niche.
I'll say niche.
There you go.
But either way, it was the Hurricane.
I don't remember
he was
him.
around very long. You don't remember him?
No.
I remember the movie about the boxer, and that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's completely different than the wrestler, I'm sure.
Yes, I think it was. He would dress in like all black and green tights, like a superhero, and he had a green mask, and it covered his whole face. And he would like fake fly into the arena on the big screen. It was super corny and played up on purpose to look like that. But me and my brother just loved him, and we'd wrestle in the driveway or wherever, and we'd put a blanket over our face, kind of holding it up like he does, or like Batman would do. I don't know why, but I gravitated to the Hurricane.
That's
Man,
hilarious.
I want video of that. I want video of you and your brother out in your driveway performing wrestling. That's fantastic.
We got some wrestling fans in the comments. Jared says Jeff Hardy, Stone Cold, and Val Venus. Val Venus, I remember that guy. Scott Foster says Stone Cold threw them in the river, Nick. Stone Cold. And
Yeah,
then,
duh.
and then,
Come on.
duh. And then John says Undertaker, 22 million net worth.
Oh, thank you. That's
Not
it.
bad.
That seems actually kind of low, doesn't it?
I actually have no idea how much wrestlers make. Like UFC guys.
I mean, that was like a year of an A-Rod contract.
right? Yeah.
About
yeah.
that way. Going for 30 years.
And then Scott says Dusty Rhodes, Stone Cold, and Undertaker. Agreeing
Yeah, there you
with Chris there.
No other Hurricanes?
No
no
other
Hulk
Hurricanes.
Hogan's either. I figured Hulk Hogan was kind of like the Wayne Gretzky of WWF or WWE or whatever.
He went away for a little while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
All right, that was Power Rank Monday. Thanks to everyone in the comments for joining in there. We are going to bring in Sean Green of the Sports Gambling Podcast here, diehard Eagles fan, looking ahead to the Browns 6-3 matchup versus those first place Eagles. We will be back in, I'd say probably about 45 seconds.
44, 43,
42, 41. righty, on the line, we have TV writer, producer, comedian extraordinaire, co-founder of the Sports Gambling Podcast, and most importantly, a die-hard Eagles fan. Sean Green, welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great, and obviously now is an unfortunate time to have Philadelphia Eagles fan listed in my credits, but you're a fan of the good times and the horrible times. This team, say what you will, still better than the Bobby Hoyne years. So, there's a lot of bottoming out this team has left in them right now.
What happened against the Giants?
Oh, my God. I've been asking myself that very same question. The big issue coming in is like Carson Wentz in the turnovers. He doesn't turn the ball over, and still somehow we lose to Daniel Jones and the Giants. I mean, we're coming in last 25 games. We're like 22-3 against the Giants. So hopefully the Giants enjoy their one measly victory there. Yeah, I really can't make sense of it. I think – really, Doug Peterson has to take the majority of the blame, just like not putting him in a good spot to succeed. And the defense played like complete trash. So, yeah, I'm blaming mostly the defense. Wentz still deserves a lot of blame, but it's Doug Peterson just falling apart.
You sound like a Browns fan. Like, I feel like we could really talk about this over the last, 2 decades. How are the Eagles fans holding up? Like, we're 6-3 for the first time in a very long time, and there's still people who are just so mad that hate Baker Mayfield. It's such a weird dynamic in Cleveland. How's Philly holding up?
Well, I currently hate Nick Chubb because, of course, I was on Cleveland -3.5. The people of Cleveland have suffered enough, Nick Chubb. Running the ball into the end zone. Get some fans out there, a cover, an ATS win. Very selfish move by Nick Chubb, only thinking of himself and the other 52 guys on the roster, not the thousands upon thousands that had action on the game. But, yeah, I mean, the Eagles fans, listen, there's always a contingency that want to fire the coach, get rid of the quarterback. There's still some Foles truthers out there, although, him looking like crap in Chicago, him losing his job to Gardner Minshew, who's now seemingly losing his job to Jake Luton or whatever that guy's name is. Yeah, so they're down on the team, they're down on the organization overall. But really, it's so bizarre because we're still in first place at 3-5-1. Some fans want them to tank the season and not even win the NFC East. I'm not one of those. I'll still take that home playoff game if we can pull this thing out. So the fans are divided on blowing it up or trying to figure it out right now.
So you touched on it there, Sean. One of the things that the Cleveland fans also love is a good quarterback controversy. And you guys had a pretty good one there with Wentz versus Foles losing out. Where did you come out on that whole debate?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because when you say you like one or the other, you're assuming I'm bad-mouthing the other guy. I said – at the time I said we got to go with Carson Wentz. He has a longer, a higher ceiling, even probably a lower floor. But I got nothing but love for Nick Foles. And, the knock, especially at the time, was Carson Wentz is injury prone. But meanwhile, Nick Foles has had crazy injuries even before they got rid of him and let him go to Jacksonville. So to me, Wentz was the right choice. I don't think they've done a good job putting the right coaches around him. Peterson's solid, but the offense hasn't been the same since they lost Frank Reich, the offensive coordinator. So I think there's a lot of organizational stuff going around. But to me, Wentz was the clear choice there as far as moving forward.
So I talked on your show about Baker Mayfield or Carson Wentz. Who would you take now?
Oof.
The 6-3 Baker Mayfield or Carson Wentz?
Carson's my boy. I'm still hanging with Carson Wentz. They just need what the perfect situation, honestly, is Carson Wentz in that Kevin Stefanski system. I think would be the best combination of those two because they refuse to roll Carson Wentz out. They refuse to, get the running game going, even though Miles Sanders is averaging 6 yards a carry and still not getting him enough looks. So I really think the best combination is a Kevin Stefanski-like system with Carson Wentz in it of those.
So you're not a big fan of Doug Peterson?
Listen, I mean, Doug Peterson won me a Super Bowl, so I can only bash him so much.
He's your Ty Lue.
Yeah, exactly.
He's your Ty Lue. There you go.
I was comparing him almost to like Jadeveon Clowney the other day, where it's just like, wow, one big thing that you're living off of the rest of your life. But again, it's hard to give him that much grief because Super Bowl year in 2017, the year after that, they win the division. Last year, they got into the playoffs. So 3 years in a row, make it into the playoffs. One of those, you win a playoff game. The other one, you win the Super Bowl. They certainly had chances to win against Seattle if Wentz doesn't get knocked out. So, right now I'm angry at him, but I feel like he's still going to be around for at least the rest of this season and another season. So he's got a long leash with me.
He's a Browns quarterback that has a Super Bowl. Doug Peterson right there.
Wow.
Let that one sink in, huh? Hey, Philly fans and Cleveland fans are similar. I think in kind of the way we approach, I don't know, our teams and sports in general, with a pretty savage attitude and really take no prisoners, right? And there's always players who like to rip here in Cleveland. Right now, it happens to be Andrew Sandejo, who can't cover anybody, and he's just horrible. He's horrible safety for us. Who is it, when the Browns play the Eagles, who should Browns fans be watching for on the field who Philadelphia Eagles fans hate every time they take the field?
Yes, who sucks?
Well, well, that's funny because Andrew Sandejo was that guy briefly last year for us. So
yes.
Sorry that you guys got the Sandejo curse. Nate Gary was the guy that really he took over that Andrew Sandejo role, and I mean that as an insult. He's just looked horrible in pass coverage. And again, it's like one of those things where the coaches are like, you don't understand. He's not really responsible for all the things that are going wrong. And it got so bad because at one point the linebackers coach said, you need to take it easy on Nate Gary. He's really good at telling the players where they need to line up. That's not what you need out of a linebacker. You need someone that can cover people and tackle. Which are turning out to be his two weak points as a linebacker. Luckily, he's been injured, but unfortunately, I think he may be coming back soon. So if you see Nate Gary out there on the field, you Browns fans should be happy.
Well, Sean here, the Browns-Texans, I know you're a big gambler guy. The Browns-Texans game, the over-under was 54, I think, at the opening. And then when that wind and storms came in, and it obviously only been 17 total points, as a gambler, when do you like to place your bets? Are you a guy that does it whenever the number comes that you like? Do you wait till Sunday morning?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely changed a little bit this season. Normally, we record our NFL Picks podcast Wednesday nights, and, we kind of go with the lines then and kind of lock stuff in. But as far as what I'm actually gambling on, I've been waiting farther and farther. I mean, if it goes across a key number and I'm not worried about the weather, maybe I'll do it. But I find myself waiting until Sunday morning, especially now with the late COVID stuff where, you can get really screwed on some guys being out or whatever. Or again, I don't play a ton of totals, but wind is really the only thing that affects totals in a real way. A lot of people think like, oh, it's raining or, oh, there's snow. A lot of times, especially with snow, that ends up helping the scoring because, the defenders will slip down or won't be in the right spot and it ends up helping scoring. But wind, and you guys know that well. I mean, that Raiders game, the ball was flying all over the place. And we had been pounding some of the, my bookie. I see you're rocking a my bookie shirt. They were putting out some field goal props, like over under longest field goal made, and any games that had win, just hammering the under 46. So that was a nice little bet there for a while for us.
Hey, Sean, how has COVID affected the lines and betting this year? With not a lot of fans in a lot of these stadiums. I know, like, traditionally, and I'm not a big gambler, but I know traditionally, like, the home team will get a field goal. It's kind of the default. Has that kind of stuff moved at all? Have you seen COVID really affect the gambling community?
Yeah, no, especially early. And early I was just killing it. Still doing pretty solid with the NFL locks, but it's gotten a little tighter here because they kept just defaulting, like you said, to giving the home team 3 points when really you just see the way these guys are playing and it's not a 3-point home advantage. Maybe there's a little bit with the altitude or if you're in a dome a little bit. But, road favorites for a big part of the season, especially early, were doing way better than expected against the spread. So the teams that, normally it's like, oh, this team's way better. They're 3.5-point road favorite. Historically, you'd look and go, oh, well, the home dog getting 3.5. That actually might be a little bit of value there. It definitely, especially early on, and even these past few weeks, it's cooled off a little bit. But just simply picking the better team, it sounds obvious, but really for a while there, it kind of was that simple. Now with injuries and with some teams actually getting better because of the, you're definitely seeing some teams getting better with the practice, and they figured out how to practice with this whole COVID thing, being able to take advantage of that, and other teams just kind of completely lost. So road favorites, especially early on, were dominating.
I feel like the Browns have messed up a few lines this year. Like back to like the Bengals game, like Parkey missed that. We let Joe Burrow come back. We should have blown them out. Bunch of people missed out on that. This game versus the Eagles, are you gonna bet it? First of all, do you bet with the Eagles, or are you smart? You go against them, like kind of like the Browns traditionally. And do you think that Nick Chubb is going to screw you over again? Like I could see us in victory formation, and then we just run it, throw it over to Nick Chubb, and he scores again.
Well, that would be, that would be a great all-time gambling moment. Almost something that you would expect Buddy Ryan if he was coaching the Cleveland Browns. And Buddy Ryan would actually like probably coaching this Cleveland Browns team, especially you give him a guy like Myles Garrett. That seems like a Buddy Ryan type defender. Yeah, I mean, usually for my rule for the Eagles is I try and stay away from them when they're a favorite, because there's nothing worse than having your team win and not cover the spread. It's so bittersweet. And I've done it a million times. So normally I like to try and stay away from it. I haven't bet them that much this season. I did have them money line against the 49ers. They were huge dogs there. So I like to pick my spots. I think though, this week on the podcast, now normally it's very rare, but I think it's wake up call for the Eagles, and I'm going to pick the Cleveland Browns to cover against the Eagles as a wake up call to the Eagles team, where we need a desperate move there. So I doubt I'll actually bet it, but I think I'll probably end up giving out the Cleveland -3.5 as a pick.
Wow.
How about the over under? I believe it's 47.5.
Yeah,
Weather looks shitty again.
Yeah, I would definitely lean to the under. Our offense has struggled, period. I think you guys may be able to run the ball, but that's good for controlling the clock and stuff like that. But I don't see 47 seems way high, honestly, and that's an under I would probably bet early, because I don't see it going up. And our offenses look like crap. Our defenses had some issues, but I think we'll be competitive at least. Hopefully stopping the run there. But yeah, you guys have had some issues with your cornerbacks and stuff like that, but we haven't been able to take advantage of that in the passing game. So I think it's going to be an ugly game, and relatively close to the spread. So
who's going to rush for more yards? Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, or is Miles Sanders playing, or is it going to be Boston?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Miles Sanders, he played, he looked good.
You guys stopped running the ball.
Yeah, it was. We just couldn't convert a third down, and really that just comes back to the play calling. I think we were like 0 for 9 on third downs or something like that. So that was really the huge issue there. We were running the ball pretty well. Yeah. I'm going to say Miles Sanders has the most rushing yards, simply because you guys got to split the carries between Chubb and Kareem Hunt. But yeah, I mean, I got those guys in fantasy on a couple different teams, and yeah, it's going to be we'll see what we can do with the defensive line and front seven. I mean, our run defense hadn't been that bad, but then the Giants ran all over us with Wayne freaking Gallman and making Daniel Jones look like Kyler Murray. So I don't know what to expect out of this Eagles rush defense.
All right, I'm making up an over-under. Baker Mayfield rushing yards after that Daniel Jones performance, 12.5. You take it over-under.
Oh, I'm definitely saying taking the over on Baker Mayfield rush yards. We are, again, if Nate Gary's out there, especially, our linebackers are just bad at going back. And again, Stefanski does a good job of, bootlegging him out. And I could see, a third down here or there where he ends up having to scramble and gets the over 12 yards there.
I like that. You know your audience. Well done there. Well done. So tell me about what you got going on. I saw you release on Spotify the album, the stand up, which is hilarious. I was listening to that today. I wanted to quickly ask you about Eagles Jail, but tell me about some of the stuff you got going on.
Oh yeah, I just put out a stand up album, and then obviously being a sports fan, it's a lot of sports references and stories. The album title is called This Loss Hurts Us All, and it's actually something my dad yelled out on a party bus driving back from an Eagles-Cardinals game. It was in the Chip Kelly era. The Cardinals destroyed us on Sunday Night Football, and my dad was just a maniac on the ride home. So it's a lot of stories like that, and I think if you're a sports fan, you'll like it. And I got some references in there to the Eagles stadium jail as well. And
so what is this? Tell me about this. Is that a real thing? You actually have a jail inside the stadium?
Yeah. Well, it was so the whole history behind it is Veterans Stadium for a while had a jail in the basement of Veterans Stadium, and they had a judge there. And because like drunken and disorderly conduct was such an issue, they would have like a minute, you would get arrested, and basically it's a jail / drunk tank, but they would just throw you in, until you sober up, and then they would release you. And I kind of compare, that's what it's like, growing up as an Eagles fan, Eagles culture. Like literally we have a jail in the stadium, and now living out in LA, they built this crazy new stadium out here, and they have a built-in farmer's market. So really opposite end of the spectrum. One city is like, we need a detention facility, and the other city is thinking, well, where are people going to get their fresh rhubarb? We need the fans need their rhubarb, and so we got to get a farmer's market going. That kind of just sums up LA sports fans in a nutshell right there.
Now, coming up on the holiday season, also Philly fans are very famous for booing Santa Claus, right?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah. And, everyone, it's funny because Eagles fans are real, like a lot of Eagles fans are sensitive about it. It's like, all they do is bring up the time we booed Santa. And there's all these like Santa booing truthers. I think it's hilarious to boo Santa Claus. It's, I'm a grown man. At the time when they booed him, the Eagles had never won a Super Bowl. If Santa Claus is real, where are our Super Bowls? If Santa Claus is real, why can't Doug Peterson convert a third down? I have a lot of gripes with Santa Claus. And if you dress up a jolly man and have him walk around at an Eagles game, one that they're most likely losing the way that things is going, you're going to get booed regardless of the, fake character that you are. So, yeah, I think it's kind of funny to boo Santa Claus, honestly. Wouldn't it be weirder if all these drunk, angry fans were like, yay, Santa Claus, he's here? Like, that to me would seem bizarre.
That's Bengals fans. That's probably Bengals fans.
Yeah, maybe they're Skyline Chili, like, hey, cheers, old Saint Nick. They're happy to welcome Santa Claus. But Browns fans, Eagles fans, we're booing that guy.
Damn straight we are.
You mentioned people dressed up in fictional characters. Who's your favorite Philadelphia mascot?
Wow, that's a hot topic right now. Oh, there we go.
Gritty.
Yes, Gritty. Gritty. He transcends mascots, right? He is. Yeah. And when he
brings people together, he's bringing this nation together. He's part of the healing process, really.
He really is. And also there was I don't normally get that political, but Gritty was charged allegedly that there was this guy, this Flyers, quote unquote, so-called Flyers fan. I don't know why you would try and trump up charges against Gritty, but he sued Gritty and claimed that, Gritty shoved his young child. I sniffed it out. I knew it was crap from the start. So I started a free Gritty campaign to help raise awareness for all the mascots get overlooked a lot of times in the criminal justice system. And so I'm a big advocate for mascot reform. I think it was bullcrap what they did to Gritty. He was railroaded. And we see this all the time with mascots. Oh, he must have shoved the kid. Luckily, they had video of the footage. He didn't touch the kid. And Gritty is the man. I saw on Reddit, though, someone dressed up this past Halloween as Gritney. Like a female version of Gritty. And I was ashamed to say how long I looked at that photo. So yeah, Huge Gritty fan.
Pin up in your room right now of Gritty.
They did a great job,
I
honestly.
think it's cold enough, man. I think it's cold enough.
Sean, all right, so for the Gambling Podcast, are you guys doing it live now? I thought I saw you guys on Twitter doing it, the last one live.
Yeah, so we do a live Sunday recap show, and
Nice.
now we're trying to do some of the NFL picks and even the college shows live. So yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We don't have the live schedule totally locked in because depending on guests, whatever. So, but yeah, we're definitely doing more live stuff.
That's awesome. And what's the handle so everyone could go check it out?
Yeah, just go sportsgamblingpodcast.com or on Twitter at Gambling Podcast, YouTube Sports Gambling Podcast. Just throw that in Google. You can't miss us.
That's awesome. Sean, we greatly appreciate the time. We're looking forward to a Browns win on Sunday.
Well, I may pick them laying the 3.5, but I'm going to be rooting like hell for the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds! And I'd say you guys are going down, but I actually, like I said, I like your chances.
Yes. Again, know your audience. Well done,
strong.
Sean
Coming
Green. Thanks for joining the show. We'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks,
All
Sean.
right, and
Yeah.
that was Sean Green. Awesome stuff.
Man, we went all around on that.
All over the place.
I think the only thing we missed was like Rocky. That's the only thing we couldn't crowbar in there.
Rocky.
Everything else Philly. We were totally in the culture there with that interview.
That's fantastic.
The Liberty Bell.
Liberty Bell,
Yeah,
Rocky.
right.
Those are the two topics we
Ooh.
missed. Everything else we hit it. We covered Philly.
That's right. All right, let's keep going with a few bets from my bookie since we're already talking about it. All right, it's clear 2020 has been a year unlike any other, which is why you need a sports book with offers unlike any other. Head on over to MyBookie and get some skin in the game with odds boosts, lightning deals, and free bets all season long. And if that doesn't fire you up enough, next week you've got the chance to get into the NFL Thanksgiving Day action with a bet you can't lose. You may be asking yourself, what's the catch? There is none. It's winning season at MyBookie, and they're putting the ball in your hands. Thanksgiving week, get your deposit matched halfway and bet up to $250 completely risk-free with MyBookie's Turkey Day free play. And while you're at it, check out their casino platform, which gives you access to classic table games, slot, and card games you'd find at your local spot. Best part is, MyBookie, the doors never close, so you can continue to build that bankroll even after the stadium lights go out. Make the right play and sign up at MyBookie. When you do, use promo code BIGPLAY to get your deposit matched halfway, all the way up to $1,000. The terms are simple. You put $200 in, they'll match up to $100 in your account. It's winning season at MyBookie, so come join in on the fun and win some cash while you're at it. Browns betting, here we come. All right, so we talked about some of those bets with Sean. Go give him a follow, by the way, on Twitter at Sean T. Green. Hilarious dude. Jarvis Landry said last week he's dedicating the rest of the season to OBJ. He's poised for a big game. We just talked to Sean. Their defense sucks. We might be dealing with another weather game. Jarvis Landry over-under receiving yards Sunday is 65. Nick, how you feeling about 65 yards for Jarvis Landry? Didn't get anywhere near that last game.
As long as it's not a windstorm, I do like it. I mean, they don't have that many guys to throw to anymore. They have Higgins, obviously has a nice rapport with Baker, and they have the running backs out of the backfield. But I think Landry's going to blow up. I mean, he has to eventually. I was looking at his stats today. He's only averaging 49 yards. And he still has not scored a touchdown besides when he threw the one to OBJ. That was his only touchdown of the season, was a passing touchdown. Yeah. So
that's crazy because, I mean, last week, Rashard Higgins, 3 catches, Jarvis, 3 catches, Kareem Hunt, 3 catches. Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's getting a little bit more action than we thought, 2 catches. But, yeah, Jarvis, 29 yards. 65 seems like a lot.
Over under number of spikes Jarvis Landry will have. Set it at 2. Going over or under that. Noah, what do you think? How many spikes? I've got my super intern Noah over here. Spikes for Jarvis Landry this week. Spiked. How many times are you going to spike the ball? It doesn't have to be in the end zone, obviously, with Jarvis. We know that.
No, definitely not.
It doesn't matter where he's at in the field or what the situation is, really. He doesn't care. 3, 4?
Now, does the spin
push.
Does the spin spike count?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Anything that'll get you flagged, I'm going to go ahead and count.
Definitely over.
See, when you said the spike, I thought you meant his cleats falling off.
Oh, yeah. That also happened as well, Like I said, a Cleveland Browns game, you always see something you haven't seen before, and usually multiple times, and that's what you get with the Browns.
That is true. So, Nick, what did you say? You said over?
I said over.
Wow. All right. I mean, Baker, what did he have last game? Like 130 yards? Something like not many.
Around.
What do you think? Over under Baker Mayfield 130 yards?
That's got to be over. If that's not over, I think we're going to be in trouble.
That's what I thought on Sunday, but who knows? I didn't see our defense almost putting up a goose egg.
That's true.
Yeah, especially against Deshaun Watson. I mean, he's so dynamic. You'd think that just his presence alone would account for more points than what they had, a couple of touches. But obviously that's not the case, and I'm not complaining, Dave.
So me and Nick, before the show started, were talking about friend of the show, Mac Wilson, how he was just picking off everyone in the preseason. And we're just, takeaway machine heading into this season. A bunch of players have been. Carson Wentz, 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions this season. Browns defense, only 1 interception over the last 4 games. That magic kind of ran out. Do you think, Chris, we pick off Carson Wentz on Sunday?
Oh, some of these games where you get this bad weather, not many people are catching them offensively or defensively. Right. So it's very hard to get picks that way. I think we're going to have 2 picks. 2 picks on Sunday. Go ahead and just write that down in ink. How about that?
Do either of you know who the leading interceptor is for the Browns?
It's no.
Leading God, we had so many early on in the first.
Redwine. Sheldrick Redwine.
And he had the one.
I thought
Miles Garrett. Well, I guess he didn't recover any of the strip sacks.
You're getting a little closer. It's B.J. Goodson. He has.
I was actually thinking of Goodson. I was thinking, who's that linebacker in the middle? Yes. God, that's funny.
B.J. Goodson.
How many does he have?
He only has 2, and then there's 4 other players each have 1. I think Ward has 1. Redwine.
So I was right there. I was close. I was second.
Yeah.
2. Wow. All right, Baker Mayfield. He's been sacked once the last month, which is incredible to think about.
That is.
Just going through the memories of Browns quarterbacks through the last decade.
Past. Doug Peterson.
Past 20, 30 years. Keep going. Will the Eagles be able to sack Baker Mayfield on Sunday?
No, hell no.
Not even once.
Nope.
Wow.
Come on. Let's go. That's
a lot of faith in the offensive line.
Hey, Wyatt had that one. I know he was ranked, like Pro Football Focus gave him a high ranking for the game. But, man, that one play, when he's bad, boy, he's bad. He had a couple of plays that he'd like to forget. When he's sitting in the film room, it ain't going to be pretty for him. But, I mean, overall a good game. But there were a couple of times he got highlighted and he just got beaten. But that offensive line, I think,
they're good. They're really good. I mean, the only issue I've seen out of them is Jedrick Willis.
We didn't spend much for him. We didn't go for a high pick or anything. Though.
Wills, I feel like he's got a false start every game, but he's doing all right. Outside of that,
Man, those announcers yesterday, they were rough
bad
with those names.
What they call Sendejo? Sendey who? Or Sendey how? Like, it was something weird.
He probably did something so bizarre. They said, "Sunday, how did he do that?"
That might have been it. That might have been it.
They were just
I
two
liked,
old men. They were just two old men talking about pigeons. That's what that was. That was all that was.
Somewhere Ian Eagle was just shaking his head.
Yeah. Where is? I mean, that's our personal announcer. I mean, he should be out there. Like when the Browns are on the mound, he's got to be catching that game. He's got to be the personal announcer.
It reminded me of my grandpa when I was little. He'd always call Marty Schottenheimer Shotty Martinheimer. He, never on purpose. That's just what he thought his name was, Shotty Martinheimer. That's what it sounded like.
And back in those days, our personal announcers are Don Krinke and Bob Trumpy. We had them for years and years. So, yeah, I pulled one out there. For the kids. Young bloods. Going to have to look both of those gentlemen up.
Were you a big Trumpy supporter?
No comment.
No comment. Half of your Twitter is like, oh, I can't believe you did no comment. All right, let's get into some Cleveland headlines. Go check out MyBookie. Use promo code BigPlay. Get those bets in. Don't do any of my parlays. I haven't hit any of them. And let's get into some Cleveland headlines.
Let's do that.
All right, so before we get into Cleveland headlines, because right now we know it's a very important time to reach out and help some local small businesses. Can't think of a better apparel company out there than Where I'm From. All of Where I'm From's apparel, 100% made in the U.S. of A. High quality, super soft. And right now, Brown's Twitter, they have an awesome Baker Mayfield themed giveaway going on worth $1,000. There is a signed Baker Mayfield jersey in the package, including a bunch of other apparel. You can go enter to win this prize pack, as I said, valued at $1,000, featuring that autographed Baker Mayfield jersey, 2 hoodies, 2 long sleeve shirts, 2 t-shirts, and more, all stuffed into one package, one winning package. All you need to do to enter is visit whereimfrom.com, submit your email onto their mailing list, and the giveaway page is right there. You are in. That's all you got to do. Just sign up with Where I'm From. Go check them out online or shop at any of their locations. South Park Mall, Chris, when you're picking up some baseball or football cards, so head over to South Park Mall. Beechwood Place, Belden Village Mall in Canton, and make sure you're following them like we do at Where I'm From on Twitter and Instagram. Great stuff. Go win some Baker Mayfield stuff. Officially licensed Baker Mayfield gear and that jersey. All right, so Browns beat the Texans yesterday. It feels like that was like a week ago. I don't know why. We're 6-3. There's still negativity on Twitter. We're 6-3. We should be chanting
the sun
Hoyer.
Came up this morning, so there's negativity on Twitter. Come on, Dave. We could be 9-0 right now, and people would be like, I really wanted Chubb to score that touchdown. That's BS, man. I mean, come on.
I was making fun of Twitter, or making fun of Baker Mayfield on Twitter for. He was kind of inaccurate yesterday. He was throwing a lot of balls.
Kinda.
A lot of balls.
He's still driving me
behind.
nuts. He's still driving me nuts,
Okay.
Dave. As long as we win, it's okay. But we've gone from high throws. Now he's gotten past the high throws. Now he just throws behind everybody. So we're just kind of moving that target. But as long as we're winning, Dave, I'm not going to complain about it. But man, in the moment, it drives you nuts. The receivers were doing a good job yesterday of hauling in some of those. Some of them they couldn't get to, but every single pass was behind the receiver. And
so every slant pass and every drag in route was way behind the receiver. They caught it. But then you have on the other side of the coin, you have him kind of break out of the pocket and just throw an absolute dart to Higgins or Landry. And it's like a perfect pass, like back when he was a rookie and we saw him come in and throw those darts. And I'm like, all right, maybe this is just kind of who he is. He's going to make some really big plays. He's going to make some that we hope the wide receiver catches, and we're going to win some ball games.
He's got a little Chuck Knobloch on those on those slants.
Some John Lester.
John Lester, he just lost it. Just lost it. Oh God, I hope he can figure that out, man. Because he puts it all together, we got ourselves a franchise quarterback.
You know he's got it though. Like he can make. He's making those throws sometimes. You're not convinced. You're not convinced.
Sometimes, man. As long as he does it at the right times. I mean, if you're playing the Texans, you could throw behind people, okay? This week against Philly, you could probably throw behind some people. When we get to the Steelers, we get to the Ravens, you can't be throwing behind people, Baker. So figure it out in the next couple of weeks.
That's true. You know, someone who outside of gamblers and fantasy footballers will not argue about is Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Nick, how spoiled are we with these two?
Man, I was thinking of this yesterday. Since '99, the running backs we've had pretty much all one-year wonders. We had Hillis and Drones and Trent Richardson, Jamal Lewis on the tail end of his career.
Willie Green.
William Green.
Fell on a knife.
But I was wondering if there was no Nick Chubb, would Kareem Hunt be the best running back we've had since '99? I think he would.
Why do you ask hypotheticals like that? Come on, just enjoy them both. Why can't we have both? Just
so how would Tim Couch do on this roster?
Yeah.
No, I'm not taking away Chubb. I'm just saying, I think Kareem Hunt would be the best.
If Kevin Johnson was a slot receiver on this team, how good would he be versus Jarvis Landry?
But look at these stats. So we have 14. Wait, that can't be right. The Browns 1,431 rushing yards this year. Is that true? 1,400? That can't be right.
Could be. They were averaging 200 for a while.
Jeez, I think that's the most by the team in the first 10 weeks of a season since 1977. And then Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, first Browns duo with 100 rush yards in the same game since 1966.
Do you know who the two that did it in 1966 were?
Ooh.
I saw Leroy Horde was one of them.
No, it was not Leroy Horde. It was definitely, he was not around in 1966. Leroy Horde out of Michigan.
He fumbled in 1966.
Yeah, Leroy Horde. I loved Leroy Horde.
Leroy's great.
Man, he could catch out of the backfield. He could run.
Who was it?
But he wasn't around in 1966. No, and this is credit Noah. Noah doing some research for me.
Ooh, well done.
Leroy Kelly and Ernie Green.
I think that's what Nick meant to say.
The Leroy Horde was probably Leroy Kelly.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but close, but you're not going to get credit for Leroy Horde versus Leroy Kelly.
I just looked. Leroy Horde was born in 1968.
So you were close. You were close. Just 2 years before he was even
I was going to say Byner and Mac, no?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, good Lord.
These two are special. I mean, Nick, to your point, I mean, yeah, Kareem Hunt is a top 5, top 10 back in the NFL by himself. But Nick Chubb, like, we miss Nick Chubb. Like, Kareem Hunt he's good. He's not Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, if you looked at that last run, there's like 5 guys in the secondary. There's one guy on him. There's 5 guys in the secondary that could easily just cut him off. And he just makes these moves. Like, he's a big dude, but he's elusive. Like, he makes these juke moves that just, I don't know how he does it. And he just gets around everyone. He's special. He's by far, I think, the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. That two-headed beast, man. It's good when it's churning. I hope we could do it when we get to good teams now. Texans aren't a very good team, and having 2 guys go over 100, that should happen, especially in bad weather.
Yeah, neither are the Eagles.
That's going to be. Let's do it when it really counts.
So right? Let's flip the script to the defense, because we haven't gotten to talk nicely about the defense in a very long time. The 7 points allowed, fewest by the Browns defense since last November's game, 21-7 win over the Steelers. Can we do it again? I feel like they're gaining some swagger.
Yeah, I'd buy that. I think by gaining some swagger, you think playing crappy teams, and
that helps.
I think that definitely helps. So that trend is going to continue this week. Myles Garrett's going to be back once again. He's been healthy. He's been playing well. And I think as he goes, the defensive line goes. And as the defensive line goes, the linebackers go. And as those guys go, if the secondary could kind of hold their end of the deal a little bit, then we're going to be all right. And hopefully that equation works out again for us this week.
Yeah, I thought Ronnie Harrison seems to be kind of coming into his own. He looked really good yesterday, I thought.
What a move by the front office to pick up that guy. I was playing Madden the other day, and he's like one of the guys.
He's doing a Madden analysis.
Oh yeah,
No.
he's like an 82 on this Browns defense. I'm like,
go.
wow, that was quite the move by this front office.
What was it, a 5th round pick?
I think so. I think it was a 5th round. Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. I mean, huge upgrade for this defense. Kudos to Andrew Berry there. All right, side note. There's a lot of talk about a dome on Twitter for the Browns. Chris, dome or no?
I'm an old school boomer on this. I say no. If we ever get good enough to go to the playoffs, then that's the advantage, is playing outside. Now, I know with a dome, you make it retractable so you can still play outside. And you can have the dome so you can have events up in Cleveland. But I just don't like the idea of a dome in Cleveland. I'm old school. I know I'm going to get overruled by all the young bloods, but I like playing outside. I like football in the elements. I think that's what Cleveland football is.
I'm with you there. I went to a Browns Detroit Lions game in Detroit. You walk in, you sit down. It feels like you're like at the IX Center. It's just like a
R.I.P. the IX Center, by the way.
Oh, that's not a thing anymore?
No, they're shutting down, from what I understand.
Shoot.
Yeah, COVID got the IX Center. R.I.P.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, but I mean, it's a weird feeling.
Damn you, 2020.
The IX Center.
Ah!
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird. I'm with you, man. I don't like it. I think it's really strange. Like I went to Jerry's World, which is like a retractable roof, and it's super weird. It's like you're at a convention center. It's not football. No, Nick, you're a little younger than us.
No, I like that too. I like the old school kind of gives you an advantage if you're actually used to it. It wasn't an advantage against Vegas, but this week it was for us with having Chubb back, and I think we are built for that kind of football.
And I think that's the key, is you build your team that way. I don't know if over the years it's kind of lost its advantage, though. I mean, that was kind of built up in the 80s and before that, before free agency, when guys would come to the NFL,
right?
And then you'd have them for a few years. I mean, nowadays you're getting guys from Texas, California, Florida. You're bringing them up here for a few months to play football. I don't know if you really have a sustained advantage of playing outside. But to Nick's point, if you're establishing a good running game, a good defensive line, those are the things that are going to bode you well in the bad conditions. So you could build your team around it a little bit.
Yeah, and I would worry that Jamie Gillen would hit the roof.
Oh,
that's
yes.
true. That's true.
All right, so Nick put a would you rather in here. We haven't done a would you rather in quite some time. So the Browns are 6-3. The Eagles, who we are playing on Sunday, 3-5-1 in first place. Chris, would you rather play in a division like the AFC North with two other really good teams, or play in the NFC East with no good teams? And why?
Well, I mean, that's a two-edged sword, but I'd have to say I want to play in the NFC East. I'd want to play in the bad division. Look at what the Patriots did for years. Not only were the Patriots very good, but also the rest of their division absolutely sucked for years and years. So it helps having both. Look at the 49ers back in the day, right? With Montana. Remember the teams that he used to play against? The Cardinals, the Rams. I mean, every single week. So I would prefer to play in a division like that. Now, for pure entertainment value, I enjoy playing in the AFC North. I think you get a little bit more credibility if you're playing in a division like that. You don't have to prove yourself as much when you go outside of the division. But hey, give me a weak division. Give me some easy wins. I think that's been the formula that's worked for many dynasties over the years.
Yeah, and we haven't gone to the playoffs in forever. How nice would it be to win the division every year, even if we weren't that good? I'm definitely taking the NFC East.
Like the 90s Indians.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Hey, I'll take charity. I'll take charity as a Browns fan.
Heck yeah. All right, so what do you think?
You know what we haven't done in a while?
What's that?
Well, at least a week. Let's play cards.
Give me a prediction on the game first, then let's play cards.
Oh, okay. The Browns going to win this game 24-21 over the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday.
Okay, close game. Nick?
I'm going to go higher scoring. I'll say Browns 30-24.
Ooh, almost a shootout between Carson Wentz and Baker Mayfield. Or are we running the ball?
I'm going to say it's not as windy. We mix it up a little bit more. We'll still run it, but I think they'll let Baker open it up a little bit more.
133 yards.
He'll get 220.
Ooh, there you go. All right. Yeah, I think I'm with Chris. I think I'm going to go low scoring in this one. I think I'm going to go like 17-14. But I think we win.
I like it.
I think we win.
I like
7-3. When's the last time we were 7-3? I believe we fell to 6-4 with
Probably
Hoyer.
1966 behind Leroy Horde running the ball.
Let's open
God
some
bless
baseball
him, man.
cards.
That's worse than counties.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the news today on our man Mike Clevenger, who is the creator of this particular game, but he's doing Tommy John, man. He's done for next year. Or
Yeah.
Mike Clevenger.
I think that's probably a good move. I remember
He's
Jay Crawford
loving-
was on. He's like, yeah, that there's no way that vicious windup can last that long.
Yeah, he's right.
Tommy John's.
Peace, love, and Tommy John. That's what he's going with now. But I'm going to go with football once again this week. We did it
Okay.
last week. We're going to do it this week. Official 1989 Tops football. So do you want the one on my right or the one on my left? Which do you want, Dave?
Ooh, do they both have gum?
They both have gum. They're both the same packs. They're both from 89 and Tops.
I will go with my right, your left.
You're going to go with the left. You're a lefty.
That's right.
All right, man.
Creative brain.
We're going to start off with the gum. Oh, you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's see who we got. We start off with an action photo. Boomer Esiason measured up.
All right. I passed on him last week.
We got Dwayne Bickett from the Colts, outside linebacker.
No idea.
You got a duel. Herschel Walker, Eric Dickerson, NFL rushing leaders.
Now, can I take both?
No, you can't take either. A split card you cannot take. Benny Blades, remember him?
No.
Safety from the Lions?
No.
He's pretty good.
Benny Blades, no.
Okay, this guy's an all-pro. Shane Conlon from the Buffalo Bills, inside linebacker. I don't remember him.
No.
He's got an awesome photo. I don't know if you can see that. He's missing his front tooth. You got Jim McMahon.
All right, there we
Jim
go.
McMahon.
I think
I'll
I
set
picked
that one
him
off to the
last
side.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got O'Brien surveys the scene for the Jets. Remember those days?
Wow.
Thomas Everett from the Pittsburgh Steelers, safety. Okay, now you got a legit card. Eric Dickerson running back.
There we go. Okay.
We'll put him off to the side. You got Cardinals, another action photo. Lomax looks long. Ooh, I'm sure that turned out well. You got Ricky Sanders from the Washington Redskins. Joe Morris, remember him? New York Giants running back. Oh my God, you got my favorite player ever. Michael Dean Perry of your Cleveland Browns. The MDP, man. I love
Boom.
Michael Dean. My favorite player as a kid.
Yep. First
Yeah.
Browns player I met
Nice. You got Marcus
at
Cotton
Builders Square.
from the Falcons. You got Mark Vlasic, San Diego's Chargers quarterback.
Okay.
And you got a Steelers Pollard set for return. So who do you like out of this?
All right.
I set aside for you Jim McMahon, Eric Dickerson, and Michael Dean Perry.
All right. I'm going Dickerson and MDP.
Nice. Good selections there. I am going to open my pack, first of all, with the ceremonial and traditional eating of the gum.
Now, Nick, I just want to let you know that's going to be a very hard pack to beat.
Got it.
Here we go. Oh, baby. First card I just pulled. A guy by the name of Ozzie Newsome, tight end, Cleveland Browns.
He was all right.
I'm going to set him off to the side. Art Still from the Buffalo Bills. Lorenzo Hampton from the Miami Dolphins. Gil Bird from the Chargers.
Who?
Wow. Tunch Ilkin from the Steelers. He was a tackle.
That's a typo.
Ouch. Here's a good one. Doug Flutie.
Oh,
New England
wow.
Patriots QB. This is the first time he was with the Patriots back in '89. Remember, he ended his season, or he ended his career with the Patriots under Bill Belichick.
I think he made a drop kick.
He did the drop kick, yeah. So this was when he was originally with the Patriots. That's a collector's
Wow.
item
Was that
right
Boston
there.
College? Was that Doug Flutie?
Oh yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah,
he,
yeah,
had,
yeah.
that was against Bernie Kosar, if you'll recall when he did that. Yeah. That was in the Orange Bowl. Troy Stradford, David Fulcher. I remember him from the Bengals. Roger Craig, not bad. Keith Millard, something called Mark Murphy, something called James Wilder. Oh, Reggie White.
Oh, my God.
Remember his connection to the Browns? Art Modell. We missed out on Reggie White. He ended up going to the Packers as opposed to the Browns. And Art Modell was so upset by that, he had to go out and get Andre Rison.
I believe he's second all-time in sacks.
Yeah, not bad. Lionel Manuel, something called Brian Sosha. Jay Hilgenberg. I remember him for the Bears.
I feel like you have more cards than me.
I don't know. I keep drawing off 5 packs back here, and I still didn't come up with that many good ones. So I'm going to go with Ozzie Newsome and Reggie White versus your Michael Dean Perry and Eric Dickerson.
Ooh.
And Nick, who you got?
It's close.
I was hoping you'd go with Flutie, so we could do Flutie Flakes versus the MDP McDonald's meal.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would have been well done. Yeah, that's right.
But I think Chris gets the nod here with Reggie.
And Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah, I think you have 2 Hall of Famers versus 1.
There you go. I feel good about this win. That's the first time I've won, I think, in a while.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I need Nick Padone back, who didn't know any of those players.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Who's?"
Like, I guess Dave.
Ozzie Newsome played for the Browns. That's.
Oh no, Nick knows.
They make general manager cards.
Oh man, all right,
Michael Dean Perry, was he the fridge?
Oh Jesus. What was the Michael Dean Perry burger at McDonald's?
The MDP.
What was
baby.
on it? Was that like the American Deluxe? Remember that one?
Yeah.
Like
what they did is they made regional sandwiches, basically, or regional burgers.
But it was that the same burger?
It was
they
like
just
the
gave
same
it a
burger.
different
They
name?
go into
Yeah.
different markets and name it something different.
Genius.
We got the NDP. It was awesome. I had the poster of him laying across all those sacks of potatoes. Like
Yes.
Sack King or Sack Man. I love that thing. Man, he was the best. I love Michael Dean Perry.
He really was. He really was.
He was one of those, he didn't really like football all that well, I don't think, because he
Really?
wanted so badly just to go out west and just kind of, he was not like a hardcore football player, like live, eat, breathe, sleep, from what I understand. He's just like, this was his job. He was very good. He was so fast off the ball.
God, yeah.
Just so fast off the ball. They always thought he was offsides. He was so fast. But anyway, we're running late, and I'm glossing nostalgic about old school players.
Bold predictions.
Bold prediction.
Noah, we need a bold prediction from you tonight.
All right, Nick, it's been way too long putting you on the hot seat. Your bold prediction for this week.
My bold prediction is that no Cleveland athletes will be arrested this week.
Ooh, you had to bring it up. Kevin Porter working on his shooting in the offseason.
And maybe more. Does Noah have a bold prediction?
Noah, have you had time to come up with a bold prediction for us? Ooh, he's going to bring some Ohio State into
We
the
didn't talk
conversation.
any.
Yeah, big game against Indiana this week. They're going to blow out Indiana. Do we have a score on that? 56-27, handing the Hoosiers their first loss of the year. And this is the end of November. Can you believe that, Dave?
Ooh, that is a bold prediction. They've actually looked pretty good.
They have. Not great, though.
No.
I'm with Noah on this one. I think the Buckeyes get their business done. They handle their business. They've had an extra week to prepare. They didn't need an extra week to prepare. I think we're going to be fine.
This is funny. My bold prediction, John, friend of the show, in the comments, actually has the exact same bold prediction that I was going to do. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb go for 100 each again against the Philadelphia Eagles. Be the
Leroy
first
Horde
time
type numbers.
be the first time it ever happened.
Yeah. Oh, Willie, back to back?
Yeah, back to back, 100 yards for each one of them. I think we're keeping it on the ground. I think the weather's going to be crappy again. How cool would that be?
Huh.
Baker will go 8 for 12 for 90 yards, and Kareem Hunt. And
See,
Nick
my
Chubb.
bold prediction is going to blow that out of the water. And by the way, I was wrong on my bold prediction. Go figure from last week. The
What was that?
Masters. We didn't talk any Masters. Dustin Johnson, 20 under at
Insane.
Augusta, gets the job done. I tell you what,
I don't even think I saw Jason Day.
Yeah, he was up there. He played. he had a chance to play 4 rounds out at Augusta in the middle of November, so he was all right. But yeah, he didn't do so well. But it was amazing because it was such an afterthought. You know, I was so excited about this Masters. It ended up being way too wet out there, meaning the scores were too low for a Masters. And then the fact that it was on CBS, and CBS couldn't get away from the Masters quicker yesterday. It was like, we want to get to football so badly.
Yeah.
Fox was so happy in the early games going, hey, we've got every single NFL game that's on right now is on Fox, because CBS didn't have any of them. And CBS ended that thing at like 3:00, like, okay, golf is over. Let's get to football. And it's just sad. I mean, this is a major. This is arguably the number 1 major of the 4. And I hate to see that happen to it. Something I was pretty excited about. Congrats, though, to Dustin Johnson. We mentioned Wayne Gretzky earlier in the show. Paulina was out there with Dustin, of course, his wife. Yeah. So see, that's the way I like to bookend the show, is to kind of bring it back to things that we, these callbacks are always helpful to kind of bring things back.
You're just a pros pro, Chris. You're a pros pro.
That's exactly right. And I'm going to go with my bold prediction. Jarvis Landry is going to have over 120 yards receiving out of nowhere.
Really?
Out of nowhere. Yeah. That's completely going to blow up what you just said about our 2 backs. But I'm going to look for Jarvis Landry to get all pissed off about the fans giving him a hard time about that spike, about his production not being where he expects it to be and everybody else does. Excuse me. Corona coming on.
Uh-oh.
And quarantine time for me. But
let's get out of this
he's going to go over 120 yards receiving, Dave.
I love it. That'll be interesting. All right, we'll see who wins, me or Chris this week, because definitely not going to be both.
How about if it is both?
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
We should win something.
All right, bold prediction, Browns win 97-14.
Yeah. Nick, you have to buy us something. If both of us are right, you have to get us something for Christmas.
All right, I'll get you something special.
Something real nice.
And maybe some football cards.
Yeah,
that's right.
There you go.
You go to the store. Okay, quick story. So I went to the mall to get the cards like I always do. Dave was alluding to the mall earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And, every couple of weeks I have to go and restock. And I walk in with my Ben Roethlisberger jersey that I've been wearing since we lost to the Steelers, and we lost that bet, one of the many bets that I lost. I walk in, the lady looks up and goes, whoa, a Ben Roethlisberger jersey. Man, a Miami Ben Roethlisberger jersey. She goes, I hadn't seen one of those until a couple of weeks ago. Some guy was in here buying old cards and was wearing that same jersey. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I'll bet it was on a Monday night too. And she was totally
clueless. How did she
clueless.
not realize that was you?
I guess I don't have a memorable face, but I do have a memorable jersey on. I don't know. They don't see many customers. I mean, this is the card shop at the mall, at the Indian Mountain Mall in Heath, Ohio. I mean, come on.
You should have showed.
That is wild.
Yeah.
You should have showed your Cavs parade pictures and said that was the line outside.
Yes.
She definitely quote tweeted you this week, Chris. She definitely did.
Just like 3 million others.
Oh, good stuff. All right, thanks for tuning in to the Big Play Reflog Show. We will see you next Monday night with the 7-3 Browns. Huge shout out to my bookie, Shaq News. Go check out Shaq News Cortex, changing how gaming works on the internet. Really, really cool stuff. Go check out those PS5 and Xbox 10 reviews. And huge shout out to Sean Green. Go check him out. Gambling podcast, sports gambling podcast, and on Spotify, his album out there for stand-up. Really, really funny stuff. And we will see you next week. Thanks, everyone in the comments. Talk to you soon.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Cut back by Chubb. He's to the 10. He's still running to the 5. He dips outside left. He's doing it. Touchdown. Sayonara. Heading left. Away. Back to goal.
Thanks, man. Good work.
A guy on YouTube just goes, I can't believe he ate the gum. See you, everyone.